Today's Philadelphia Eagles Now is presented by LinkedIn Talent Solutions. You can post your job for free and make quality hires like we've been able to do here at Chat Sports. Eagles Now has taken off. Our company, Chat Sports, a rocket ship because we've been able to bring in some quality people. LinkedIn.com/NFL Daily will tell you more about what they have to offer coming up later in the show. On today's show, a lot to get to because there's a lot to discuss in terms of the Eagles making a couple of roster moves, Anthony Harris returning at safety, and the Eagles sign a 3-time Pro Bowler. First, though, our Eagles-Giants watch party was an absolute blast. Appreciate the 20,000 people who joined us all throughout the afternoon. And our Eagles-Giants watch party MVP, our guy right here, Tim Timme, a.k.a. Tim Timme. Here he is with his wife at the Packers game earlier on this season, and he is the winner of our signed football because he sent in the biggest super chat. Customized football. We signed it for you, gave you a message. Tim, it's going to be on your way. I'm putting it in the mail tomorrow. And on Sunday, another watch party as the Eagles look to move to 13-1. Jalen Hurts taking on the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields. Two fun quarterbacks here in the National Football League going to be squaring off. It can't be a trap game for Philadelphia with the Dallas Cowboys coming up in 2 weeks on the eve of Christmas. And during our watch party, it's going to be a lot of fun, cracking some beers, and we'll be giving away this 5-foot-tall signed Declaration of Independence. Everybody who sends in a super chat, your name goes on this. We'll send it to the biggest super chatter, 5 feet tall. You can put it at the crib. Absolutely awesome. All right, let's dive into what the Eagles have done with their roster. And this is why you subscribe to the show, because yesterday on Eagles Now, I talked about the possibility of bringing back Anthony Harris, as well as signing a new punter, who the Eagles brought in after a visit. The Eagles making those moves official today with Kern and Anthony Harris coming to Philly. Eagles signing both of them to the practice squad, and for Harris specifically, signing him and inking him to a contract, bringing him back after Reed Blankenship's knee injury that he suffered in that win on Sunday. The good news for Blankenship, no IR stint, so expected to come back in a little while, and that's what makes this an insurance policy. So Harris, he's familiar with this defense and this organization, signed a 1-year, $5 million contract to play for the Eagles in 2021. He stayed with the team, was with the Birds in training camp, did not crack the 53. Eagles had put him on the practice squad, but they let him go so that he could seek opportunities elsewhere. That opportunity elsewhere was with the Denver Broncos, but then he was let go and released from the Broncos practice squad back on December 6th. So he makes his way back to Philadelphia, and don't expect this guy to have a massive role in this offense. Like, the Eagles are still going to have Marcus Epps, Kevon Wallace, Andre Shasheri, and maybe move back Avonte Maddox and Josiah Scott to that safety position. Anthony Harris is here for a depth reason and for security purposes. This is an insurance signing for the Eagles. He knows the system. At some point, he could get elevated to the 53, or they just keep him on the practice squad. Then they elevate him if another injury happens at that safety position. And the best case scenario for the Eagles here is that you bring on Anthony Harris, and he doesn't really have to play that much, right? Because C.J. Gardner-Johnson has a little bit of time left on IR, but hopefully he comes back in the final 4 weeks of the regular season. Reed Blankenship, if he's not put on IR, obviously the Eagles have confidence that that knee injury isn't all that severe, and both can return soon. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Marcus Epps, your starting safeties, Blankenship, your backup, and then that depth that you've been missing that's a little bit of a concern right now going into the final month, it'll be fulfilled in that regard. So, do you like the return of Anthony Harris? Don't freak out about it. It's a depth signing. He's on the practice squad. Maybe he gets elevated to 53. Most likely will, I would imagine, for this Bears game on Sunday, but another roster move will have to happen. L for like, D for dislike, let me know. Now, he's 31 years old. In 2019, he was the interceptions co-leader in the NFL alongside Stephon Gilmore, who was the Defensive Player of the Year that year. 98 games throughout his career since playing his college ball at Virginia, 68 starts. Right now, yeah, he's probably a coverage liability, but at least he's a sure thing in terms of tackling, an instinctual player given his experience level, so he can diagnose plays and make up for his lack of athleticism at this point. And throughout his career, he's been able to tally in that game sample size 10 interceptions, 31 pass breakups, 221 solo tackles, as well as 5 tackles for loss. So Harris going to come back to the city of Philadelphia and go on this practice squad, could get elevated to the 53-man roster, and I don't hate it. I saw some people on Twitter Twitter, if you want to give me a follow at Chase_senior, you can, saying, I don't understand the deal. I mean, what other options are out there? We talked about them yesterday. Anthony Harris, Malcolm Jenkins, who has his contract basically secured, and they have the control of it for the New Orleans Saints. Jaquiski Tartt, like Anthony Harris, was with this team prior to the year, but like Harris couldn't crack the 53. You're going to go after a guy like Jeff Heath, who we talked a little bit about a couple of weeks ago. This is a better option. If you love the Philadelphia Eagles, it should be all of you. If you're rocking that eagle across your chest and you bleed green, or if you like our Eagles Now content on top of that, make sure you hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, show us some love. Coming up next on the show, Eagles signing a 3-time Pro Bowler to the practice squad as well, following that injury to Arron Siposs. Punters are people too. Let's talk about some punters coming up next. First, though, you can post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily and make quality hires in the process. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. And that's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. And if you're in a pinch trying to make a quality hire very soon, you can basically get rid of all of the awful candidates and hire the right ones with LinkedIn Talent Solutions. Here at Chat Sports, I started March 1 of last year. I was the 8th employee. Now we have 20 people. We just built 5 new studios, and we continue to grow. And that's what's so great about what LinkedIn Talent Solutions offers. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find quality candidates that you want to talk to faster. So post your job for free, linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That's linkedin.com/NFL Daily to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Brett Kern, he is the 3-time Pro Bowler who the Philadelphia Eagles have signed after that ankle injury to Arron Siposs. Nick Sirianni saying yesterday that this injury to Siposs is pretty bad after that punt was blocked in the end zone. He tried to scoop and score it. Honestly, a miraculous and heroic effort for him to almost pull off that 3rd and long by scooping up that ball with one hand. He got smacked at the end of that play, and as you could see, if you were watching the game or joined us for our watch party, needed help getting off the field. Now, Kern, one of the better punter options out there. If you wanted to have drama enter your locker room, then you sign a Matt Araiza, who, charges were dropped, but a civil suit is ongoing for the guy who they deemed the punt god, the 6th-round pick for the Buffalo Bills. It's just too risky to bring in a player like that with that package, with the legal issues looming, when you can just sign a guy who is very well accomplished in his NFL career. Here is where Kern has ranked in yards per punt among all punters in the NFL. Last year, his average, 44.8. Siposs better, 45.6. And the Aussie in Siposs had been having a pretty good season for the special teams unit. In 2021, he ranked 24th. 2020, 16th. 2019, though, he was excellent. 4th in yards per punt, 2018 5th, and before that, even better, he was a 3-time Pro Bowler from 2017 to 2019, a 1st-team All-Pro in 2019, a 2nd-team All-Pro in 2017, and he's 36 years old, so the leg not as strong as it once used to be, but this guy has punted in 7 playoff games throughout his career and is well accomplished in this league. When you're an All-Pro and a 2nd-team All-Pro, who cares about the Pro Bowl nowadays? It's turned into a skills competition, but the accolades are certainly there. And let me say this right now, when it comes to the special teams unit, for all teams in the NFL, especially Philadelphia, because this year it's been a weak unit. When coaches say we have to execute and play well in all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams, I take that seriously, and I don't look at that as a cliche coach saying. You can't underestimate the importance of special teams. Special teams lapses, especially in the playoffs, can cost you playoff games if you have a snafu on special teams. If a punt goes out of bounds and you're not able to force the opposing offense to drive the length of the field, if you fumble on special teams or have a breakdown in that coverage unit and the field is flipped and the other team can put 3 or 7 points on the board, oftentimes games in the playoffs are decided by 1 score or less, and that special teams blunder can cost you a trip to a Super Bowl, and that's what the Eagles have aspirations for right now. And that's why Nick Sirianni, a couple of weeks ago, after the special teams unit going into that Tennessee game was one of the worst in the NFL, he put pressure on special teams coordinator Michael Clay. He called out Britton Covey, said both of those guys needed to be better coach and player standpoint. In the last 2 weeks, the special teams unit for the Eagles has actually been really good. And if that returns, and that's why I like Nick Sirianni, he addresses questions and weaknesses on his team, and he gets it quickly figured out. That's a sign of a good coach and a good team. He did that with the special teams unit. Now, let's leave it up to the expert and David Akers, former Eagles kicking great, who took to Twitter to say this. Yes, we know what he said at the NFL draft, calling out the Cowboys a couple of years ago. Kind of corny, but kind of lit at the same time. Hate seeing folks get injured, he said on Twitter. Unfortunately, it's part of the game. Eagles picked up a legend with Brett Kern. He has a plethora of shots he can use. I love the verbiage there from Akers. Love the choice, and hope my brother can go get a ring with the rest of the birds. Hate this for Siposs, though. Hashtag fly Eagles fly. So we'll leave it up to the expert in David Akers to make the call there on Brett Kern. He seems to like it. We'll like it too. But Brett, you better perform well. Otherwise, you'll get booed as a special teams player, even if you're on that special teams unit. All right. If you made it this far in the show, you're subscribed to Eagles Now. I want you to type Real One in the comment section right now. We appreciate the Fly Eagles Fly family here at Chat Sports. Real One shirts, too. They are also available if you want to cop those and get some merchandise with the playoffs coming up around the corner. I'm rocking my Bird shirt. I've rocked the Real One shirt on the show several times, and you can get it at chatsports.com/EaglesRealOne. If you're about that Real One life, black shirts, Kelly green shirts available, chatsports.com/EaglesRealOne. All right. We'll be back. If you want to interact with me on Twitter and Instagram, you can find me at Chase_Senior. I made it easy for all of you. I made it the same Instagram handle and Twitter handle on both social media platforms. So hit me up if you just want to chop it up, talk birds, and I'll catch you next time here on Eagles Now.